Yes, my dear students. Now we are back to our new session, Geography. Lesson number 3, the Earth's major water bodies. Last two sessions, we were discussing of this lesson. Hmm? Then we have discussed ocean, seas, bays, as well as lakes. Today we are going to discuss on topic rivers. So dear students, take the page number 22. Okay, what do you mean by a river? A large amount of water flowing over a long distance from higher to lower ground makes a river. What is that? It's a large amount of water. Then second one, first one, it have a large amount, large quantity of water. Then second point, flowing over a long distance from higher to lower. Second point, it is flowing from lower side to no higher side to lower side. This is known as a river, and the rivers have water all the year around are called perennial rivers. There are two types of rivers are there. One is a perennial river, another one is a seasonable river. Perennial river. What do you mean by perennial river? Perennial river means the river that have water all the year round are called perennial rivers. Rivers that have water all the year round, all the year round are called perennial river. Okay, these most of these rivers rise in high snow-capped mountain and get water from rain as well as melting snow. What type of river it is? It is getting water by melting the snow. We know some of the rivers like Ganga, Ganges. What did happen? It is starting beginning from the top of Himalaya, while melting the ice. Then, because of this melting ice, this water flowing through these rivers, and these get water from rain. Then the second one, it may get some rainwater from equatorial rainy region. Some rivers, including the world's longer river, the Nile, are fed only by rain. These rivers rise in very rainy regions. Rivers that do not have water all the year round are called seasonal rivers. Now comes another one. The rivers that do not have water all the year round are called seasonal. First one was a perennial, and another one is a seasonable river. And some well-known rivers of the world are the Nile and Congo in Africa, the Rhine, Danube and Volga in Europe, the Ob, Havangu, Yangtze, Ganga includes the Irrawaddy in Asia, the Mackinac, St. Lawrence, Mississippi and Missouri in North America, the Amazon and the Parana in South America, and the Murray and Darling in Australia. These are some of the examples of rivers, famous rivers. Now let us study what it is, the importance of water bodies. What are the important? Water is essential for our life. That is first one. Without water, we can't live. If there is no water, then what would happen? There, no life will be here. Life will end. And so, since ancient times, people have always preferred to build their home near the source of water. From olden time onwards, people they are preferring near the water body to make or to build house or stay there. Why? Whenever we feel thirsty, we need water. Without water, we will die. You might know that one of the earliest civilization developed in Egypt on the banks of the river Nile around the same time. Almost of the civilization in early times, where were they? They developed near the bank of rivers only, like Egypt. Egyptian civilization, it was near the bank of a river. In the Indus Valley civilization, and these all the civilizations was near the bank of a river. Then around the same time, civilizations flourished along other rivers too, like the Huanghu in China. First we know it was near the Nile, and secondly it is flourished through other rivers too, like Huanghu, Chinese civilization that we can find near the Huanghu in China, and Indus in India and Pakistan. Many of today's important cities are also located on the banks, like Delhi. What about Delhi? Delhi on the bank of Yamuna, and another one like Calcutta seashore, then Cochin near the seashore, and like that we can see. So then Mumbai, that also near the seashore. So everywhere we can find some water body, and near the water body people likes to live. Then London on the Thames and New York on the Hudson are the few examples, like Delhi, London, Thames, then Hudson, and these all the things. And now these are some of the rivers. Then water on the earth exists in three forms that we can see. So water have three forms. One is a liquid, another one is a solid, and another one is a gaseous. And water vapor in the air, one is water in the oceans, another water body, and ice or snow in cold regions. Water in the oceans, that is a liquid in form, water vapor in the atmosphere, that is a gaseous in form, ice and snow in Antarctica or cold regions or above the Himalaya, that is the third solid form of water. The oceans contain most of the water on the earth. We cannot drink this water. So water have two taste. One is a salty water, another one is a fresh water. Most of the water we can say, so what is it, salty in taste. And what about a very little water, that is a fresh water that can be used for our daily uses. We cannot drink this water because it is salty. However, huge amounts of water vapor rise from the oceans, go into the air, and come down as a rain. Rain is our main source of fresh water. What is our main source of fresh water? That is rain. And we use this water for drinking. Which water we are using? Rainy water we use for drinking, washing, running machines, watering crops, and so on. Then water can absorb and some store more heat than most other liquids. That is what water can absorb the temperature, heat, and it can store. Other liquid don't have that much capacity how much our water has. Therefore, oceans and other large water bodies help to reduce the extremes of temperature on the earth. So we can see, so this water body of earth that saves us to they saves us from severe heat. So dear students, rest part we will continue in next session. So have a nice day, take care.